Hello everyone, Wise Guy Jesse here, and today I am on my Elementalist in Guild Wars 2, and so let's go show some build and everything. So today, first off though, I know it's been a while since I did a video. I was doing this on purpose because I was waiting for this update that came out yesterday, and that is that one feature pack for September 9th. So yeah, I could actually be a commander, and I got all the different tag stuff. So I could do that if I want. I don't think I put command. Yeah, I didn't put command. I didn't want to, anyways, at the moment, because I mean there's already command on the map, and I'm not gonna be doing anything but going over some stuff. So yeah, here's my elementalist. You see the dual dagger. I know that a lot of people were worried about the elemental saying it's gonna be like a great nerfing of them and stuff like that. They're worried about all the stuff that's going on. Basically, what I've noticed the nerfing would be is some people would use burning speed and you'd get yourself in a corner like this. Only most of the time it would be like an enemy's portal door or something, and you would hit the when burning speed, and so you'd go like this, and all of the fire would stack up right in one spot. And so instead of having spread out little spots and you getting hit with that firewall damage of 49 once every couple of seconds kind of thing, you'd be getting hit by like 5 or 6 stacks of it at once. And if someone had Berserker built onto it and stuff, they would just burn everybody down. It'd do a crap ton of damage. And the same thing happened with the Fiery Greatsword. One of the skills was you would run forward, basically doing the same thing, and people would go up in corners like that and lay it down. So now this doesn't it's not supposed to take effect unless if you actually move a great distance, so you actually have to stand back when you go off. And so that's one of the main updates to it. I think some of the other ones were like tornado. This used to make it so, if I remember correctly, I don't know, Wikipedia said something like you did something like your power level would be like 3 times what it normally was, and something like whatever the other thing was, your condition damage was like twice as much or something. And so it would end up make it so if you were a berserker build and you wanted to tornado form, you would be doing like thousands and thousands and thousands of damage just all at once, and you would just melt everybody kind of thing. And so that's some of the updates. I know that some people were saying how it's overpowered and stuff. Like right now my skills, I don't have them set up. I have them set up to these. I'll explain later about some of the other steps to it. I just have these because when I'm running around, like if you're attacking a fort, you're going to want the walls to be cleared. So I have Firestorm right now, but I mean, flip to any other element, and so it changed that around.
I can move mountains.
But yeah, so here's the update thing. You can see all the different things. Okay, so my whole build is I haven't seen anyone really use a build like this, so I feel like it's more unique to what I have. Most of the dual daggers go with some kind of build where it's like a Condi build or a Berserker build. They want to do a good bit of damage and stuff. They're going to be up close in fights. I end up having mine, so all this stuff is the Milan's setup thing. Um, if you that name may look somewhat familiar if you played Guild Wars 1, because that was actually a monk in Guild Wars 1. But all this stuff is Milan stuff. That's just well, it just had the transmutation on it, but it's also Milan. So I have all this stuff, and it's a whole bunch of healing. And I actually have I was doing like one-on-one duels with a guild member, and he called this the OP healing thing because my healing spells would do so much. Where the setup I have it so that I could go off on my own and like roam around the place, and I could hold my ground. I actually do a good bit of damage. I feel like people kind of underestimate the whole cleric armor stuff, and they want to go with something like knight armor because of more toughness stuff. I like this one because of the whole healing power, but I'm also getting normal power and toughness to it, so I could actually do damage. And I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's storming right where I'm at right now. So it's like rain. Hopefully power doesn't go out and I lose connection. If power does go out, I do have a backup battery that's lasts like 30, 40 minutes. Anyways, these are these are actually transmutated too. These are just settler um, daggers. So once again, you see more toughness, healing power, and I have condition damage. On these, this one I have water. With all my healing power, I could see when this works. I LA's stuff I've noticed don't really have a whole bunch of the critical hit chance. So I always go with something that has the chance on hit, and water was one of them. And this is very nice. I notice when I hit it because everybody around me gets healed by like 500. So that's pretty nice having that. It also, you got like a better chance when you use the fire, if you're in the fire attunement with the daggers, because you're shooting off 3 projectiles and each one has its own chance of hitting. So that just helps out a good bit more. You may also remember this because I had this on my, I think it was on my warrior. Uh, I have the one sigil of the corruption. Because I started going with condition damage. Most of these I started to flip over to the one condition stuff. Right now with the rings, though, the like these rings were I found them like from the chest from doing Edge of the Mist, and so instead of saving up the 20, I think 25 laurels to go and buy new ones, I just figured, oh, I'll just go ahead and use what I already have. And then the invader stuff was what they sell in the World versus World guys, so I was like, yeah, might as well buy those two. End up buying those two from the trade post, and I just kind of looked up back piece, and this is like one of the couple back pieces that showed up. Like you can't look up actual back items, so you have to look up something along the lines like you could put in just the word back, and I think charred back warmers show up. There's like 2 of them, but they're not super good. If you look up guard or spine guard, there's like 6 of them or 7 of them pop up, and this is one of them that best fit my whole setup. So you got the whole healing power, condition, all that stuff again. More toughness, vitality, condition damage. So you see I still haven't added any things to this. You could go off and add stuff to them. I haven't added them yet. So yeah, you can see my build's kind of really like, I sit there and I will heal myself up with, if I flip over the water and I use healing skill, I already heal myself up by, I think flipping over the water does like 2,000 or so healing, if I remember correctly. I might be mistaken about that. And my healing skill does almost 6,000, and then the water spells that I use get another couple thousand. I can heal myself up like all the way up, and then flip back over to fire and start hitting everybody again, and have some other things going. So anyways, here's my traits I have set up. I've noticed a lot of traits do have it set to most of the time all of the arcane are um, filled up because you want to be able to switch between your attunements real fast. Is one of the key things. It helps out a whole bunch. So you got like the whole fury when switching attunements. I put mine to windborne daggers just because I'm using daggers. I can go, I think it's 25%, I think those stack up, so it's like 25% movement speed. It just kind of gives me the extra bonus movement thing in fights. I can, if I start running around, I can actually outrun. If I get swarmed, I could run away a little better. I know some people do switch over to Arcane Shield. I know a good bit of people do switch to that, and that does come in handy a good bit, especially if you're going to run into a group of people. That will help you stay up and alive more. And you see it blocks several attacks, and then it ends up exploding, doing damage, which right here is what it would show. That it explodes for critical damage. I don't have any critical hit thing, so it's 150% more damage. So it ends up doing about 1,200 damage. So nothing too fancy or anything. But here comes some of the more useful things down along the line is like the 2 minutes lingering effects. That I don't think helps that much. I think that's more of like if you're using water, then the healing mist. You see that I'm healing up about 130 every second for everybody around me. This one very helpful when switching between things because you can see that regen it does about 2,000 in that water, but that's over an 8-second period. Yeah, like protection and swiftness, might, all those are kind of useful at times, especially when you're flipping between one elements in fights. You want to be able to go through. The arcade precision. So it's another one of those where you can't really choose. It shows up on its own, but skills have a chance of adding condition on critical hits. Like I showed, I only have like a 6% chance of a critical hit, and I think right now we have like the one Borderland rune bonus thing, so I think it might be even less than that at the moment. If you do go with the Berserker or Assassin armor, that chance will go up a lot more, so that could be somewhat useful. But anyways, I don't really focus on that much. This thing is basically whenever you dodge, it ends up putting stuff off. Really like that because normally when when I flip the water, I'm also dodging because I'm going to try to get out of the way of everybody. Though when I flip the water, it's normally like I'm doing like a minor retreat back to heal up a little bit before I run back in. And while you're retreating, you're gonna be dodging. It's gonna be throwing the cleansing water wave out. Let's go heal up. And so then onto the water magic. So as you saw, soothing mist. They have the reduce the recharge on the cantrips. They had. I know some people would do things like this but that's more of when you have a higher critical hit chance. Or this is when you get critically hit. So I mean, it kind of helps out a little bit if like there's thieves running around. But I mean, it's not going to be anything major. You can see it's only going to hit like 1,000. Um, they have. I know some people had this, but that helps out only if you really have a good critical hit chance, because this goes along with this one where you see water gets a chance of vulnerability on a critical hit, and that just ends up allowing you to do more damage on critical hit. So I normally just go with this because the cantrips would be stuff like the flash, the lightning flash to escape, the earth armor. There's a couple others that will show up in the minute, like mist form stuff. Anyways, yeah, here's that attuning to water. So there's that 2,000 again. So with that and whichever one was down here, when I switched over and it does 2,000 with regen. So you see that I end up doing a good bit of healing when I'm flipping around with water. They have the reduced recharge on wonder spells, which that's useful because I used to have, what's it called? I end up using that Cone of Cold when I start getting hit because this is one of the first ones I do is to get all the conditions off me because you don't want to have like a poison on you that will reduce healing by the 33%. I try to get rid of that if I have it first, so then I can actually get the full effect of the healing from this. And you see the 8-second cooldown. That helps out. You probably want to toss some of these, like I'll go over those actually when I'm done explaining these to make it a little easier, so I'm not jumping around. Anyways, this more damage per boon you have, so it's nothing too fancy. The whole auras, that gives it to allies. I use that just because I want to be able to run around and kind of I don't know, it's just kind of somewhat useful because I normally run around with a Zerg with this, and even if you do like just a simple little roaming group, it's kind of nice to be able to give your allies some kind of auras bonus. I mean, you're using double dagger, so the only auras you have is the shock aura. Anyone that hits them, they're stunned. So that's one nice thing, or the frost aura, which is just 10% reduction of damage. So those could be somewhat useful when running around with a Havoc group. And then I put the last two in the Earth Magic. I wanted to get a little bit more condition damage. Like I showed, my build's mostly healing and condition damage. So you see when I'm on Earth, you're adding toughness, and then the Earth armor when I'm hit below 50. They had, I've seen some people use I think they switched over. Some people I've seen use that reduction in charge Singets, just because they will use the this one, and if you have that 20% reduction, it only takes 20 seconds of a cooldown, so you'd heal yourself up, and then keep on running around. After 20 seconds, you heal yourself up again. I end up just using this one, just because I know it's like the first one. Some people say like the first one's kind of the crappy one, but I just use this one a whole bunch, just because the I don't know, it does a good bit of healing, and I mean you get the bonuses. If most of the time I'll flip over to try to switch over to fire when I use it, because that extra 150 power and 150 condition damage is quite nice to be able to start hitting people and doing a good bit of damage back at them. But sometimes I end up being on like water when I use it or something, just because I need that regen. I know I think some people go over, they wanted some more of the precision and ferocity, and you could switch these over to these, but I don't think, I feel like the first one right there is kind of useless if you're using the double dagger. And I mean, it would be somewhat useful if you switch it around and had these. Like, if I was to switch it, I would personally put it on the reduced Griffin recharge, because you can see I end up using this, which is the Griffin, and this. So that together ends up making it so that like the recharge on those, it would be 25% less. So I mean that would be 20 seconds, and then I could heal myself up even more often, and that 20% or 20% off that would end up making it 48 seconds, I believe. So that's that. Man, I'm getting horrible lag. Like I'm not even moving. I don't know what's going on. Somewhat more. Oh, there's the problem right there. Yeah, that would do it. Don't know if you could see, but the BG Zerg over there. I was like, I don't, not supposed to be getting this bad of lag. Like, there's nothing going on. It looks like they had to be several people over there because they got 2 or 3 rams up. But anyways, back to this, because it looked like chasing them off. I don't want to do anything. Anyways, back to these skills. I see some people go with tornado, but I personally don't care for tornado that much, and especially now since you don't really have all those bonus, like a whole bunch of extra damage and all that. I kind of like the fiery greatsword, and I know many others do too. And it's not just because of the whole bonus power and the condition damage and stuff. I mean, that's part of the reason I like it a whole bunch. But I also enjoy it because you could use it for um, it gives you a good bit of mobility. I guess you could say they have the skills that rolling one where you're spinning around, you fly forward, and the other one where you're just charging forward, almost like burning speed. Those will help you. You could You could use that to escape from people. If you're seeing multiple of them like teaming up on you and you know you can't win, you could use it to escape. You could take off running, or you could use it to actually chase down someone and you could fight them. And also, you see my skills down here. Here's the cleanups. I know I've seen many people, they end up switching like all these around to all of them being cleanups. So they got like earth armor and like mist form stuff. I haven't really seen a lot of people use cleansing flame. Most of the time they just use all three of those, and a tornado at the end. That's what I heard multiple people use. I don't really care for those. Like mist form's okay for you're trying to escape, you break stun all that stuff, but if I remember correctly, someone can immobilize you, and then you're you're invulnerable for that 3 seconds, but you're not moving anywhere, so you're kind of screwed. And then this, it's quite nice for the whole extra protection. You're going to have the stability also. Find that somewhat nice, but I mean, I already have the whole trait on here to use it, and so I end up using this a lot too. And then the update ended up making it so when they immobilize, they also get that bleeding effect right there. And so I end up using the whole Sigil of Earth, or Signet of Earth, just because. Oh crap! This okay. I saw orange swords and I thought that was outside our keep and it was a tapper, so I tapped it. I was worried for a second, but anyways, I used Sigil of Earth just because the extra toughness is kind of nice, and since I'm going to be the dual dagger, my range is really low, so I have to be up in fights if I want to hit them with these attacks. So I'm going to need some toughness to be able to keep myself from being melted. Then the other side of it is that whole immobilize part. I use that because sometimes people go, oh, look at elementalists, they're being light armor, they're easy to kill kind of thing. They're going after me, and when they start hitting me, I start to attack back, and I try to get a whole bunch of Kandi stuff. Like that's why earlier when I was showing the corruption sigil on my dagger, once I get all the 25 stacks of that, it's extra 250 condition damage there, and I have the one guard killing and the defense stacks all the way up. So that gives me an extra, well, extra 100 condition damage and power there. And if I end up I guess I would point out the foods that I end up, right now I'm still in that testing different foods state because I stopped playing my Elementalist for a long time. Like, I made it when I first got the game, played them for a couple months, um, was always on, I used the staff when I first started, and it's everybody just wanted this Elementalist to be the designated healer of the group, and I didn't find that super fun, so I ended up stopped playing because no matter what happened, I was always stuck on water. So then I switched back over to it just a few months ago, or like the other month, and I'm like, you know, this is actually pretty fun. I'm doing a good bit of damage, and I'm doing pretty decent on this guy. So now I'm trying to figure out things. So I started like that whole condition damage. So picked up some master turning crystals. Right now I have that tropic fruit salad just because it had the whole healing power and condition damage. I probably will change that up at some point because I don't really care for the extra healing power. I mean, I'm already doing a whole bunch right now. It's not like I need more. But if I have all those activated, the Drake's Breath, the burning condition to it, I could have that up to about 7,500 damage within 3 seconds. So I'm doing 2,500 damage a second. I think if I add it correctly, yeah, like 2,500 a second. And that really just takes people down. If they are to stand right there in front of me and I smack them with that whole thing. I got the whole, once the one powers increased from that guard killing, I do a little over 1,000. So I end up doing almost 8,000 damage with just that. And then you normally want to follow it up with that fire grab, because if they're burning, it does more damage. And normally that's enough to scare the crap out of someone when they just got hit by almost 9,000 damage total with both those together. So I always find that to be very nice. I know some people will say like you should switch over to some more of a Condi build. Like I think Shaman armor. I think that has like healing power and condition damage. I forget what the third one is. But I want the extra power too because I want to be able to roam on my own. So you see like condition damage right now is kind of okay-ish. But all this, I mean, I'm probably going to be getting more condition damage because, as you saw, these are the only ascended items I have right now. That's a rare, which I'm going to be getting up to a Zoc form sometime. I think the only reason I got that at the moment was I had spent all of my badges of honor on Siege, because if you didn't know, this Friday the season 3 tournament of World vs. World comes out and stuff, and everybody's gonna be fighting. So I was like, okay, well, might as well stock up on some Siege, spend it all, and then I'm like, oh crap, well, I needed to get another thing, because when I was playing this guy last, I had nothing on here, like none of these were there. I think I had a Shaman necklace that was a masterwork level like 50, and that was about it. So I end up switching all this stuff around. So once I get these into like the ascended, then like this is also rare. Like I don't really know the Zoc ones of that. I forget what they were called or where they're found. I think you get like the Kraken shell. But anyways, so that's this whole build. I guess he's one of those, he could stand his ground. I remember go check what time I've been recording about 27 seconds. Okay, so or 27 minutes. But as I say, one of the things that happened was one of my old guild leaders he ended up switching over to the BG, and so when I see him and stuff, I kind of mess around, and if I see his group, I'm like, oh yep, that's the group he's in, and he always notices me because I guess a whole bunch of Ellies run around on their own with the daggers that he sees, and so he always sees me in his group. I feel like they purposely try to target me, like he points me out saying, oh yep, that's that one guy, because they come after me several times. And there's a couple times where I've had their group like come after me and I was able to escape. I'm not sure how. I don't think they were all trying to hit me at once, but I know I've been hit by large groups of, I don't know, 10 to 15 people, and I'm like sitting there standing my ground and no one's able to really take me down all the way. So yeah, so this is basically my whole build. I guess I could go ahead and help these guys take out this tower. The gate's about down. How many people is here? Just 3, 4, and me, so that's 5. But I guess I'll go ahead and take out this. You'll be able to see in the combat log the damages, healing, all that stuff.
Almost ready.
The good thing about having a high toughness is I could go in to fights like this and not have to worry about my damage or getting like just destroyed. I thought the combat log was supposed to show the whole. It wasn't supposed to show like condition damage. Um, maybe it's settings and what to go into. I'll have to check that out later, I guess. But, I mean, you could probably go back through the recording and slow it down a little easier and see all the stuff that, like the damage and stuff. Because like right now, I noticed that the burning, I think that was doing like a little over like 300, but it hits multiple times a second. So yeah, it's basically all I was going to show. I was going to go into depth about like explaining a little bit more about the whole update, but I mean, it'd make it a really long video. I mean, I guess I could go ahead and explain a little bit more into it, like what I've read up on it, and if anyone was here just to watch the whole what my Ellie build and stuff and see how it's set up, then I mean, you go ahead and stop that because I mean, it's probably go for like another 5 or 10 minutes. I'll try to explain what I've seen so far real fast. And also, if you're here just to watch the Ellie build, I mean, you go ahead and give it a try stuff and see how you liked it, or you could like leave a comment saying any suggestions of the trinkets up here because, like I said, I want to go for more. I want to have. I think I got all my healing power I need right over here with those. I'm thinking over here of going more of a. I'm debating between having a mix between the soldier for the power and toughness, vitality, and having something with the one condies on it. Because I definitely want to have that. I want to make sure that my one Drake breath can just melt people and make it really powerful while having a whole bunch of toughness to myself. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, I guess we're going to continue about the update. The update, I already know that there's a lot of complaining, but most of the time people do complain about changes and updates and stuff like trade post. You go there and now you're like, well, wasn't there other tabs along here? And normally people panic about that. At first I was a little lost on like what's going on because this part here is still normal, but when you go to trade post, then you're like, whoa, what's all this? It's all different. It looks weird. And it's changed, and change scares me. It took me a second to realize what's going on. I didn't see this at first. So you go up here and you can switch around your rarities, the levels, and stuff like that. And then you go armor, and then it shows the subcategories. The only thing that I will say that I'm not really a big fan of is when you get to the bottom of the list, it says, "Oh, max results reached. Refine the filter for narrow results." So that kind of sucks because I know I used to do a lot was I'd be like, "Oh, well, let's see what kind of weapon skins they have for cheap." Because one of the achievement things was that under fashion was like having 1,000 skins. So I was like, "Oh, let's see what kind of weapon skins they have." And so you type in skins in search and you'd sit there and go through and go page to page to page, and so that's not there anymore, or you got a limit, so that kind of sucks a little bit, but I mean, it's okay in my opinion. It's nothing too bad. They have over here underneath achievements, you see it's a little bit more narrow. So here's the whole fall thing coming up. So this looks like it's gonna be more fun. I don't remember them having actual like rounds to it, so that will be somewhat fun and more interesting, give you more achievement points. They added in collections, so they got all these different things you collect. They had this achievement when I jumped on. I already had this one, and I didn't have that one, so that's why if you looked at the trade post when I open it up, and you see all these down here, this because I didn't have this one. One of the things I do like about the achievement now this case it says use one of each of these 6 utility boosts. You click on it and it will tell you what you actually need for the achievement. I find that very nice. They have things like this one, you see, um, these kind of give you a sign of where you'd find them. See the tiny dust mites inside show no sign of slowing. Pretty sure it's trying to hint to you that you will find this from those dust mites over in the dry top area. This one's based on the ash lesion containment technology. I'm not sure where you'd find that one from, and if you go up on the Wikipedia and looked up these, you're not going to get any good results, stuff like that. I couldn't find anything. They got trash collector, got all those. You'd see most of them. I have to go find these things. And some of them, when you look up, like, which one was it? I think Vent Lockpick was one of them, where it was saying you needed to go into that the other path dungeon to kill things for that, all that stuff, but ends up giving you a title of honorary scripts. But this is basically the whole thing I point out is how it actually points out what you need for achievement, and I find it to be very nice and very useful. The whole Dark Hunter, go through there and it shows you what ones you need. And if I had hundreds of gold, I would buy them all right now, but because I'm very interested in seeing what this is. See this, you trade karma for something useful. So this could be interesting. This have those, if you're looking for dungeons, all that stuff, they're all underneath your bosses and everything. So they got all that stuff. Some of the other things in the update, but apparently didn't show up, was that that's probably where it's gonna be at, right? Combat. Okay, so this is where you'll get your combat info. So I want to go for outgoing heals, outgoing damage, and let's see. What's this one? I don't know what that is. Migrated damage. I feel like damage is gonna go with telling me the burning and stuff like that. So you can see the whole Dragon Claw is get regeneration on myself. That's probably the armor. Whenever you have a 25% chance when struck to get regen. Um, I'm not seeing burning damage though, so I'll probably end up messing off this. Oh, buff damage is probably what it is, isn't it? Um, maybe, maybe not, probably not. Oh yeah, purple is the burning. So yeah, burning was doing 474. Well, that's really nice that they actually have a color code. So yeah, now you know how to get the combat to show those. Another update was that normally somewhere around here it would have said like Tarnished Coast because this was found on Tarnished Coast. Well, now these are universal, but those are mostly for only for like PvE guilds. So now they could go all across servers. I think one of the ones was like the forget. I should probably not go name any guild stuff because I don't know if they want me to or not. Just to be on the safe side, I won't. But I know some guilds that I'm sure everybody else knows that they added people from cross servers. So now all that one influence will come across all servers. You actually see I got a couple new guild members because, like I was saying earlier, that guild leader switched servers who left the guild. So anyways, they had that whole thing going. So you see, another thing that I saw was a lot of people were saying that there's gonna be like a whole bunch of debuffs and nerfing of people, like I showed earlier, people were worried about the whole firing speed, but that's I find it a reasonable nerf for that because it'd be annoying when you ran into one of those and it was a berserker elemental and you just die. That was rather annoying. One of the things that I saw was warriors. Warrior armor or warriors adrenaline is supposed to not last as long because some people were able to they'd get their adrenaline fully up and then they would purposely be jumping off buildings and hit the ground and then get themselves injured and that would keep them in the combat so they'd have their adrenaline up still and all that. And there's a whole bunch of different little tricks that they do like that just to keep their adrenaline up. They could keep their adrenaline up for a long time until they would come across someone roaming and then they would able to just beat the crap out of them with the burst skill. Now it's supposed to not last as long. It's supposed to drop down easily and all that. I think there's also supposed to be a couple other skills supposed to be somewhat weakened or something. I'm not sure if that. I know if you go into Guild Wars Wikipedia thing or Guild Wars 2 wiki, you end up finding a whole list of things that they added in. So you'll probably have best of luck there actually. I just know one of the main ones that you'll probably notice is the whole, since commander tags are universal now, everywhere you go, there's, I'm not even exaggerating, if you haven't played, then you probably haven't recognized this, but if you have been playing, you'll recognize that everywhere you go, there's probably like 20 to 30 tags on every map because everybody's showing off that they have a tag. And it becomes rather annoying, but I mean, I figured this is only going to last a few days and then everybody's going to be like, okay, well, I'm bored now, kind of thing. So, I think that's about it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to go over. I guess if you play Guild Wars 2 and you're curious of like adding me as a friend on here, then feel free to. You can see I am the Wise Guy Jesse from 4651, or you can just look up Wise Guy Jesse. Sometimes I'm on the Wise Warrior Jesse, and Wise Assassin is my thief. And most of my guys, you starting to recognize a pattern that they all have Wise in it. Anyways, feel free to add me as a friend for those. Also, if you're on the TC server and you want to join a guild here for some fun, it is up and okay with letting people in. Like I'm the guild leader, if you notice, and I basically am still sent the guild. It's been months and stuff, and starting to get people in, so I haven't done advertising or figured at some point I will. They have, well, so there's like, I don't have any like rep requirements right now. I basically come and go as you please kind of thing. The people I have on here, these people, I know most of them, they haven't rep. The only one I've seen rep all the time is Valerity, but I think this is like his only guild. Yeah, I just know that people jump on and you can rep when you want. I made it to be a guild where you jump on and you say, who wants to go make a Havoc group to go and capture camps or something, or who wants to go do the world boss train or whatever, and people will say, oh yeah, I'll go join you and stuff. That's basically the only point of this guild. I figure at some point I will make it a little bit more serious, but till that time, it's just messing around, and so that's kind of a bonus. If people joining now, then you're going to have more say in what the guild should do later on. But anyways, I've been recording for like 45 minutes, so I'll go ahead and end recording here, and I guess I will see you guys next time. Bye.